Before I start this review, I would just like to thank gravitasventures for sending me over a early screener to check this film out. Today I'll be talking about the film Nine Windows, which is a mystery crime thriller film and will be coming to VOD on October 15th. So what did I think about this film? Well, stick around and let's talk about it. After a tragic accident kills her parents, Liza, unable to walk, spends her days terrorizing vloggers. When she witnesses a murder online, the police dismisses it as a hoax, and it's up to Liza to find the killer. The film stars Garle, William Forsythe, Michael Pare, Christopher Millan, and was directed by Lou Simon, and I've never seen any of her previous works. With Nine Windows, I didn't know anything about this film. All I knew was the genre, and I went into it really fresh. I didn't know any of the cast, so it was interesting to see what I was actually in for. Now, you have a girl here who just graduated from college. Her parents and her get into a really bad car accident, and her family ends up passing away. We fast forward to years later, and she is at her job, in which she is confined at home in a wheelchair, and she's watching all these different people do videos and do uploads, lives, and they're doing all sorts of things, selling products for their business. And apparently she's really good at this job, but she's also going through therapy as well. We see her therapist will stop by, and she builds this relationship with this therapist. And one day when she's on the job, she notices something very suspicious, in which somebody is actually killing a dog on screen, and she ends up calling the cops. The cops don't really take her serious, and we get this detective that starts to investigate. And then also she's building, obviously, this relationship with her therapist, and she talks to her therapist about certain things that are going on. And throughout this movie, mainly, she sees this happening again, where you have somebody that has this username. He's uploading these videos in which he's actually killing people and torturing people. And that's really the whole main premise of the entire movie. From a positive standpoint, I didn't think the acting from our main character, Liza, I thought she did a pretty good job for what she actually is given. The therapist that is involved as well, those are pretty much our two main characters for the majority of this movie. I didn't think they did too bad of a job for what they were actually given. Obviously, this premise is intriguing in the fact that she is someone that is monitoring all these different windows, hence the fact Nine Windows, in which she's watching Nine Windows, watching everybody upload their videos, and then obviously the intriguing fact that someone is actually murdering people and torturing people, and then also animals as well. You know, it could be a little bit graphic for some, but the fact that this is actually going on, it is interesting and intriguing, and it feels like a little bit of Saw to it in a way. Cinematography, there's not a lot to really grasp onto. Soundtrack here was okay. There wasn't really a lot of music within this film. I think when it comes down to it for me with this film ultimately is the fact that the main character isn't very likable. She's a bully. She obviously is going through a rough patch in her life. Obviously, she lost her parents, and I feel for her in that instance. But at the same time, she's bullying people. At one point, she's actually making fun of someone because they're really depressed and they want to kill themselves. And I was like, this is really strange how this main character actually is. Like, we're supposed to root for this character. She's good at her job, but then she's also bullying people as well, which I really didn't agree with at all. There's two detectives that are in this movie, and when they're there, you have this older guy. He's not very good with technology. He's just very blah. I don't know if that's the performance they wanted him to have as a detective, or if he's just not a good actor, but the way that he portrays this character is he's just very nonchalant at the fact of these videos that are going on. You know, he's kind of investigating, but I don't really think he really does anything. There's also this younger detective that comes in, and he's his partner, and he's investigating as well. He's not in the movie as much, but he's also really bland and blah as well. And I felt like really nothing as far as law enforcement was really doing a whole lot of these videos, and to me wasn't really taking it very much serious. The problem also is the fact that this film is only about 85 minutes, and a lot of this is just kind of recycling through the same kind of thing. She sees a video, she tells them about it, and by the fourth time they're like, oh man, we should probably, get on this and maybe investigate a little bit more. And then the last 15 minutes, when they switch to a certain gear, I was like, well, hallelujah, we got something a little bit different because there's just nothing else really going on. And the fact that we're kind of going through in the motions, I'm like, where is this actually headed? So I think from a momentum standpoint and a pacing standpoint, I really think they didn't have a lot of material to really help stretch out the story even to 85 minutes, because you're telling us certain things and showing us certain things where this person is actually doing this, but you don't really develop this person that's actually doing this. And the person that's actually behind this, we get no backstory whatsoever. We don't really know nothing about him, his name. He's just doing this. And I just didn't really understand, why should we actually care as an audience, other than the fact that obviously this is actually wrong, but you don't develop him whatsoever. Beyond the fact that these detectives are really a bore to watch, we then also have a love story that they just shoehorn in there of her therapist, which I was like, I'm not buying this whatsoever. I don't really understand why they had to put this in the movie, because mainly for me, he is just there obviously to comfort her and just be there to actually make her feel a little bit better. But at the same time, like, she is such an ass. Like, I can't imagine why in the world would he actually fall in love with this girl, because the way that she treats people and just the way that they decided to write her character, I was like, I just didn't really buy the fact that we even have this whole love story. But I guess they just had to throw that in there to actually fill in the runtime, because like I said, there's so many scenes in here where you're just kind of going through the same thing over and over and over, not really developing the plot too much. And then the last like 15 minutes going, oh crap, we need to hurry up and end this and hurry up and get a little bit more action than what we're actually giving you. So here's the last 15 minutes of action. So I was just like, the way that they just structured this movie, I just think that it had a lot of potential to be a lot better, but I just don't think it was written that well. And just the way that it was edited, put together, and then just kind of showing the same thing over and over, and then just at that last 15 minutes going, yeah, here's the rest of the movie. It just wasn't really structured very well. So as far as a score for me, I would give it a 2 out of 5. Like I said, it had a lot of potential. I think there's things that they could have done a little bit better. I think that if you rewrote the character a little bit, the main character, I would say, and maybe got a little bit more out of the investigation, maybe this movie would have been a little bit better. But it just comes off really meh, a little bit dull in a way, but not completely terrible. So those are my thoughts on Nine Windows. If you have checked out this movie, let me know down in the comments. What do you guys think about it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you just think it was kind of meh? And if you have not checked it out yet, are you going to check it out now that it's on VOD? Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.